Welcome back from intermission, kids. I got Charlie upstairs there. He doesn't have school tomorrow, so he's hanging out with me. And he was being nice and quiet while I was watching the last one. So I did make that Bigfoot highball with the orange juice from the container. And yeah, you know, when you squeeze the half of those little oranges, those cuties or whatever they are, when you squeeze that in there, that is better than the orange juice from the carton. I'm not going to lie. The fresh squeezed is better. Are we in the center? And I can't tell because my hanger's not back there. Because it's hot. This is Panic in the Year Zero. See what I did there? Fear, panic. A day when civilization came to an end, where science fiction ends and fact begins. Ray Milland, Gene Hagen, and Frankie Avalon. Yeah, Frankie Avalon. Starring in Panic in the Year Zero. Music by Les Baxter. Now, I got a couple of Les Baxter albums up there. I think one that I bought, maybe a couple that my dad gave me. Pop liked Les Baxter. And Martin Denny. He gave me a couple of Martin Denny albums, too. Here we go. Panic in the Year Zero is a 1962 American International picture. Okay, you're going to have to pardon me. We got ginger ale going now. We're carbonated. Okay. American International Pictures, that's how they would get Les Baxter. Directed by Ray Milland. Not just starring, but directing. It's your average family. Mom, Pop, and Pop is Milland. And their perfectly behaved teenagers, Rick, played by Avalon, and the blonde girl. I don't remember the girl's name. But she's blonde, so no. Sorry, no Annette Funicello. They take off on a camping trip to the California mountains, and while they are on the road, the unthinkable happens. And if I recall right, like kind of right in the rearview mirror, we're leaving town, Los Angeles, and yeah, big mushroom cloud right. A nuclear attack on Los Angeles. Now, all Mom can think about is getting back home to Grandma. But Pop is convinced there is no more Grandma. Mom insists they go back, so they do. At least as far back as they can get. Soon they realize that Mom is a hapless dreamer, and with the growing number of people fleeing for the hills, they are better off heading into the woods to fend for themselves. Now, Pop must have been in the Boy Scouts because he's prepared for anything. Good thing, because I believe we hear on the radio that New York, Chicago, and Frisco have all been hit, and Europe is in shambles. So they stop in a small town who apparently don't have a radio. I don't know. Stock up on groceries, supplies, and guns. Along the way, Pop is resorting to more and more desperate measures to protect his family. But with towns sealing off their perimeters and roving gangs of unruly teens, Times are turning to desperation. Damn those Ruskies. Arena. Just kidding. Arena's the... I don't know if I can say it on the air. The energy drink that starts with an M rep at the gas station. She takes the inventory and makes sure that the guy brings the proper amount of energy drinks that start with an M. And she's Russian. And a redhead, like me. Anyway, the family holes up in a cave that Rick found last year when they were camping in these hills. But despite their best measures to hide themselves, there are others around. And not all of them are friendly. Good thing we got those guns. I know, preppers. But let me tell you something. If you're going to prep it all, if you're going to hoard food, like, what do you think's going to happen if you have a bunch of food and you don't have any arms to like, defend your food, your stockpile? Yeah, you're going to get killed and they're going to take your food. Don't be a dumbass. Okay, knowing what we know today, it seems absurd that someone would go back to a city that had been nuked to check on Grandma. But let's face it, back in 1962, much like the 50s, we were teaching kids to, like, take cover under their desk in case of a nuclear attack. There's an atom bomb going off at the mall over there, but we're going to, like, hide under our desk there at good old Grand Elementary. What hasn't changed is the survivalist mentality. And I know some folks who are quite certain that the world's going to, at least certain that the dollar's going to fail. And I can't rule that out. Because, it could. Now, whether that's going to happen in 2 weeks seems a little... Well, they've been warning us that it's going to fail for 2 weeks, like for 8 years. 9 years. So, it may not be that fast, guys. Take it easy. Milan portrayed the paranoia perfectly, and paranoia figures big into this. Only in this case, it may well have been warranted. Major cities in the U.S. got nuked. Okay, yeah, that's going to cause some problems. And with everything that goes on with all the rest of the people around, and the chaos, and some people like trying to help, some people trying to steal your goods, A very interesting moral dilemma is what I wrote here. You can ask yourself the questions. Are you responsible for anyone else? This shit happens. Society breaks down. I say no. You're kind of like on your own. Better cover your own ass. I'll use my Chicago typewriter. We should bring that on the show. We'll do a gangster movie so I can sit here with my Chicago typewriter. 4. It's a 4-ring circus. Panic in the Year Zero. Actually, very good. Now, let's take a look and see what we got for next week. I see one right here. And no, I didn't see what it was. I saw that. It's green, though. Okay. We're going to the pit next week. We have the Bloody Pit of Horror. And I don't remember that one so well. And The Pit and the Pendulum, which I remember the story very well because that's Edgar Allan Poe. So next week, headed to the pit on the Late Night Picture Show. Now we're going to try and come up with a special treat for the last picture of the season, the last episode of the season 2 pictures, I think. And it might be a comparison we come down to. We're trying to get one of our favored guest hosts back on the show.
And when in the blue fuck can we get Ivy back on the show? My God, she's hot.
I'm not going to say anything yet because we don't know anything for sure.
There's fucking talent there.
But I plan on wrapping mid-July, so it's coming up. And then, of course, we'll start again on Halloween. But be sure and join us next week for the Bloody Pit of Horror and The Pit and the Pendulum. Good night, kids.